Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days. So this is going to be the first of a few Q&A videos. I was overwhelmed with the amount of questions that got sent in from you guys. Really do appreciate it. There was that many questions, and to tell the truth, quality questions as well. I know I can't fit them all into one video, so we're going to have to do a few videos. I've jotted them all down. I've tried to carve them up, so this one's going to focus on wrestling. We'll do another one that will talk a little bit more about Wrestling Days and YouTube and things like that, and then we'll do another one that focuses on Mattel figures, maybe memorabilia as well. So this is the wrestling one. There might be some questions in here you go, oh, that'll be better if it was in the other one or whatever. I'm not going to focus or worry about that too much, otherwise I'll just never get these videos done. So I've jotted them down, quickly moved them around and whatnot. So let's start off with the first question, and that is, am I okay with Brock Lesnar on the cover of 2K17? That's from Roman Connolly, WWE fan. Yes, I am alright with that. I think Seth Rollins would have been a better choice. He obviously held the title for majority of last year. I appreciate they weren't sure as to when he was going to return. There might have been a bit of uncertainty as to whether he'd be back for all the promotional work and whatnot, but I think Brock Lesnar's just, he's big money, isn't he? Whether you watch WWE or don't watch WWE, everybody knows who Brock Lesnar is. The fact that he's got this fight with UFC 200, I don't think that would have been a deal breaker for him. I'm not sure how much 2K would have known about it. I just think that they've put the biggest star they can on the front. They couldn't really do John Cena because they did him the other year, so maybe Seth hasn't reached the wider world yet. So yes, I'm fine with it. I think the adverts for it look brilliant, but I think if you were going to serve justice for the person that deserved to be on it, then I think it should have been Seth. Favourite superstar and diva, that's from David, is it Doratis? I'm gonna butcher people's names here. I'm very sorry for that. Yeah, favourite superstar or diva. Favourite superstar at the moment, probably Shinsuke Nakamura down in NXT. Favourite diva at the moment. Ooh, I like the work that Charlotte's doing. I think she's a great heel. Sasha obviously is always there or thereabouts. I really like Asuka, you know. I think Asuka's got so much going for her. I think personality-wise, I'd probably go with Bayley or Sasha. But in-ring wise, who I enjoy watching the most, Asuka. So I can't really choose between them two because they've both got different personality or in-ring style. So am I looking forward to the draft? That's from Luis Hernandez. Yes, very much so. Very much so. I'm looking forward to the draft. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think that they got a few things wrong last time, which I hope that they smooth out this time. I want to see the two brands, SmackDown and Raw, kept completely separate. I'm fine with the odd pay-per-view where there's a bit of crossover, but I don't want to see people popping up, you know, every couple of weeks and whatnot, and invasions and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to see that. I want to see two really strong independent brands. And then, I hear a lot of talk about, oh, I don't want to see a second world title come back. It was always seen as a lesser title. Well, why was it seen as a lesser title? SmackDown and, the storylines in SmackDown deserve to have a top title. Raw and the storylines in that deserves to have a top title. I'm fine with there being two top titles. And they shouldn't, neither should be inferior to the other, because they should never meet. They should never cross over. You should never have... I get it, at WrestleMania you might want the SmackDown champion against the Raw champion and, find out who's the best and all that kind of stuff, and you might bring back bragging rights as a pay-per-view. I get all of that, but I just think that the brands need to survive on their own, and yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to see who gets called up from NXT. I'm excited to see who they're going to bring back. I'm excited to see what they do with the staging. I just think it's going to freshen it all up, shake it up again. Let's we'll soon see if we like it or not. So, but I'm up for a bit of a change. Favourite wrestler ever. This was from the FIFA boy, Dylan, DY14N, and Thomas Check. Favourite wrestler ever. That is tough. That is real tough because I love the classics. If ever you've seen my Mattel figure videos, you'll see how passionate I am about the flashback ones and about the legend ones, because I mean, I was watching wrestling in the late 80s, early 90s, and have continued to watch it all throughout. But I was always interested in going further back than that. So, you know, early 80s, and if ever I could watch any 70s stuff, you know, I loved finding out about the history of the business. So, you know, I love people like superstar Billy Graham, who really was the foundation for Hulk Hogan, and people like Bruno Sammartino, who's the longest reigning WWF champion of all time. You know, he puts John Cena to shame. You've got people like Bob Backlund, who I'm really excited seeing on TV at the moment. I think sitting down and watching their match and the story that gets told in the match, and you know, the mic work that they had, and it's difficult to look past Shawn Michaels. He kind of gets held up as one of the greatest ever. He's kind of up there with Ric Flair, isn't he? Hulk Hogan maybe. But I think Hulk Hogan kind of really lost his way. Hulk Hogan, for me, took a big step backwards with all the politics. You know, it was in his contract that he couldn't lose certain matches, and he had creative control, and you just look at that and go, oh, you're a bit of an idiot, aren't you? But Shawn, I mean, I know Shawn Michaels wasn't, you know, an angel in the 90s. I dare say he wasn't an angel in his final run either, but he could walk the walk, man. He could do it on the mic, he could do it in the ring, and I think as an all-round package, probably have to go with him. EY14N, right? Let's say Dylan, yeah? This is my favourite question that got asked out of everything. What is your favourite superstar to only win the tag title? That is brilliant, because straight away I go, who's only won the tag titles? So it made me go away and look into it. Man, there is a list of quality. I don't want to take too long on all of these questions. I can tell you that people like Typhoon, Tony Atlas, Chief J Strongbow, Ivan Putski, all these absolute legends only won the tag titles. I mean, you're talking about Hall of Famers there. People that are in the Hall of Fame, and the only title to their name is tag title. For me, I have to go with Dynamite Kid. Dynamite Kid, I just think, was one of the best all-round wrestlers. Would have made it as a singles competitor, but was in the British Bulldogs with Davey Boy Smith. Predictions for the draft. How do you predict the draft? I think what I'll do is I'll do a draft video, and we'll talk about who might sit best going where. I think if you want some quick predictions, I think you'll see some faces return. You know, you might see Goldberg do a few things. You might see like Carlito come back. I'm hearing about Chris Masters, Shelton Benjamin. So none of them would surprise me. I think you'll see some call-ups. I'm hearing about 12 names getting called up. So you might see Finn Balor, you might see Bayley, you might see Nia Jax, you might see Asuka. I think you'll see call-ups, I think you'll see people returning, and I think you'll see maybe even a tag team get split. They've teased it, so they might do it, split up a tag team. I personally would put all of the factions onto one, and then I'd put the men and the women onto another. So I'd have like the Club and Shield and Social Outcasts and New Day, just all out war on one show. And then I'd have like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, the women's division, I'd put them onto the other show. Any tag teams that are just two, like Vaudevillains, I'd get a third person in, and I'd make all the tag teams three, and I'd have faction war. Because it's not as if every time you watch SmackDown you're just going to get tag match after tag match. You can just have Simon Gotch against Kofi Kingston. That'd be absolutely brilliant. And then just think of the like, you could have War Games, and you could have Elimination Chamber, and I just think it'd be wicked. So that's what I'd like to see anyway. Favourite indie wrestler, that predictions for the draft, that was from WWE Figureman 21. Favourite indie wrestler. This is from Michael McGully. Again, I'm butchering people's names. I'm very sorry. Favourite indie wrestler, Zack Sabre Jr. I think he's fantastic. He's in the cruiserweight tournaments. Keep an eye out for him. I also like people like Jay Lethal and the Briscoes and the Young Bucks, but I'd have to go with Zack Sabre Jr. Who do I want to return for the brand split? I'd like to see Carlito come back. I think he could really help the Shining Stars. Because he's obviously part of that same family. To tell the truth, there's no one really that I want to see return. There's no one that I think that's left that I'm desperate to see come back, which is a bit of a sorry state of affairs, isn't it? There's none of the rumours I'm really excited about. I think I'm more excited about the NXT call-ups. So that was from Master Gamer 12340. Favourite piece of memorabilia? I'm not sure if that fits in this video. I think I'll save that for the Mattel one. Do you like Dean Ambrose as champion? That's from Harrison Wright. Do I like Dean Ambrose as champion? Yeah, I do. I just think he needs a real good feud. And against someone he's not fought. I'm alright with the Shield thing they're doing, but I want to see him go up against... somebody fresh. That's where it starts to become a bit of a challenge, because Dean Ambrose has been around for a few years now and had feuds with everyone. He's fought Roman, Survivor Series, just gone. He's fought Bray Wyatt. He's had a big feud with Bray. He's had a big feud with Kevin Owens. Don't know, it's tough, innit? I think it's tough. I don't know really what big heels... I mean, he's had fights against Lesnar. It's too soon for Baron Corbin. I like Ambrose as champion, but I just struggle to see who he could feud with. I suppose, actually, a feud against the Club and AJ, that'd be cool. Have him, trying to keep them at bay, AJ Styles and the Club. I'd be into that. One wrestler I'd like to meet, that's from Joseph the Boss. That is a great question. To tell the truth, there's a lot of wrestlers that I'd love to meet. People like Typhoon. Fred Ottman, I'd love to meet him because he was Tugboat, Typhoon and the Shockmaster. So I think that'd be wicked. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But the guy that was Godfather and Papa Shango, can't remember his name. He went into the Hall of Fame recently. He'd be a cool guy to meet because Papa Shango. I'd love to meet Kamala. Obviously, I'd love to meet Undertaker. There's loads, but the top of the tree would be, and I'm going to cheat a little, Bruno Sammartino, because he's just one of the all-time legends. Obviously, Shawn Michaels, again, one of the all-time legends. But for me, top of the tree, Vince McMahon. How would you not want to meet Vince McMahon? And he was a wrestler. He's wrestled, so it counts. What commentary teams would I like to see after the draft? That's from Tom Sturck. I would like to see Byron Saxton, JBL kept together because they I think bounce off each other all right, but I don't want to see Cole in the middle. I want to see Ranillo in the middle because I just think then I've got somebody that I'm interested in listening to. The current Raw team just do not do it for me because I'm not interested in listening to any of them. And then I would bring up Corey Graves and Tom Phillips and put them with Michael Cole on the other show. Or alternatively, you could have Corey Graves, Tom Phillips and Ranillo, and then just keep Cole, Byron and JBL, and then you've got one amazing commentary team and one commentary team that you just don't really want to listen to. But the only thing is, that commentary team, that will make that show a weaker show for me, so I think it'd be better if you just mix it up a little bit. Seth Rollins fan says Nakamura or Balor. I would go with Nakamura. I'm a big Nakamura fan. I really, well, where is it? I love Finn, as you can see, and my dog's called Finn. So I'm a big Finn Balor fan, but Nakamura, you never know what he's thinking or what he's going to do. I love that. Would I rather be in a tag team with Seth Rollins or Dean Ambrose? This is from Lawrence Elliott. That's easy, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, because you know that he's got you back. And Seth, I'd be worried that he was going to turn on me at any point. So, Dean Ambrose. Howard Eibrook, Ambrose, Rollins and Reigns, and that's from Tom Goodison. I would get this triple threat out of the way, and then I would turn Reigns heel and I'd have Seth face. I would do a double turn on them two, and then I would just keep Ambrose out of the way. I just think that I would look to get a Shield reunited next year. I think that'd be really cool. So I think that we just need to get Reigns kind of heel turn done, and who knows, maybe Reigns could go heel and then he could form a tag team with Seth. Ambrose is face champion, but then Ambrose could turn heel as well, and then we reunite the Shield next year. I'd be interested in doing something along those lines. Or I'd keep the title on Dean though for now. I don't think that needs to change. Luke the Gamer 2000 and LTG. Oh, sorry, Luke the Gamer 2006 / LTG 2006. SmackDown or Raw? Well, easy mate, Raw. I never watch SmackDown, although I will be when it goes live. Hottest woman in wrestling right now? That's from Trey Guest 4. Wow, Paige is very attractive. Obviously, she's British as well, which is really cool. Asuka, I think, is feisty and really cool. I like Liv Morgan as well down in NXT. I think she's really talented. I don't know, man. I just think they're all pretty attractive in their own way. I'd struggle to sit here and say, oh, I don't think that girl's attractive. There's something really attractive about powerful, confident women. And I think that's the women's division's got that in spades. So I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say just one of them. I think they're all cool. 5 favourite wrestlers and why, from David Goldfield. Wow. Do you know what? I'm going to do that as a separate video. So great question, David. But 5 favourite wrestlers and why? Shawn Michaels I've named. British Bulldog, Bruno Sammartino, Ivan Putski, Gorilla Monsoon, Undertaker. How can you not have Undertaker? I'd probably be bobbing around those kind of areas, but I'd want to sit down and think about it a bit more, flesh it out, make sure that it's definitely right. So as a real rough answer, 5 from what I've just mentioned. But I know I'm missing out names. Jake the Snake Roberts, of course. You know, how can you not have Jake in there? Or Macho Man. It's going to largely be the usual suspects, but I definitely have some of those old school players in there as well. I'd want Gorilla Monsoon in the mix. Favourite NXT star from 5 Day Games 1, 2, 3. Favourite NXT star, Nakamura at the moment. Nakamura for the guys, Bayley or Asuka for the girls. Is KO the next top heel? That's from Sean Dunn. Yeah, I reckon he is. I think he's there or thereabouts. He just needs to tweak his character because he's still losing a little bit too much. He needs to go on a vicious kind of winning streak. In order to be a real top heel, he needs a good run. Really, between now and WrestleMania, if he's going to be the big heel at WrestleMania, he needs to become undefeated and really, get some wins under his belt. Because at the moment, the only big heel they've got is Brock Lesnar, and that's because they book him that way. Will it be a better product when Triple H takes over? That's from Little Noise, or Lil Noise. Will it be a better product when Triple H takes over? Maybe. I can't say I'm sitting here desperate for the day, because I like what they're doing down in NXT, and I think it certainly has a chance to be a better product. But I think that Vince is fantastic at what he does, because you have to think about more than what gets put on TV. You know, the negotiations with superstars and dealing with disciplinary issues and looking for opportunities to grow and things like the network. You know, I mean, he's very innovative, and even though he's very set in his ways and maybe a degree out of touch with what people want right now, I don't think Vince is, holding things back and would desperately trying to get Triple H on board, because I think Triple H will probably have weaknesses in some of those areas, and then I think that other things will suffer. So I think there's a chance that the TV product will improve under Triple H. and maybe storylines and backstage segments will be a little bit better, and we'll go in a slightly different direction. But I think it would be wrong to say that Vince is holding anything back. Sean, Walgreens or network figure? Oh, that is definitely one for the Mattel one, so we'll move that for that. And Jim Gore, my good friend Jim Gore says, first match I ever saw. Definitely going to answer that because it's Jim. First match I ever saw. I tell you how I got into wrestling. I got into wrestling at a very young age because my cousin was into it, and my cousin was like the coolest guy in the world to me. And so if my cousin was into it, I wanted to be into it. And I can remember, I don't remember watching any wrestling with him, but I remember getting at a car boot WrestleMania 5, and I loved it. I you know, the main event, which was Macho Man against Hulk Hogan, the Mega Powers exploding. I can remember Ultimate Warrior being on that card as well. And there was quirky characters. I seem to recall Red Rooster was on that card. WrestleMania 5 was definitely, I'm comfortable in saying, one of the first events I ever saw. And it might have even contained the first match I ever saw. I can't quite pinpoint the first match, but WrestleMania 5. Either that or it'd be something from 91 or 92. But yeah, I would say that the first thing that really made an impression would be Ultimate Warrior Rick Rude, which I'm sure is on the WrestleMania 5 card. I hope it is anyway. I'm fairly confident Ultimate Warrior's on that card. I would say that match made an impression. I would say Macho Man and Hulk Hogan made an impression. And I was off then. That was me done. I was buying more and more and digging into it all and exploring it all. And it's wicked now to go back, because at that young age you don't appreciate some of the matches that you go back now and watch and go, they're amazing. The one I keep mentioning in some of these videos is the Glamour Girls against the Jumping Bomb Angels from the first Royal Rumble. I think it's Royal Rumble 1988. That is a women's tag match for a women's tag belt in WWF. I mean, who knew this thing even existed? But it did, and the match is brilliant. And it's at Royal Rumble 1988. You can get it on the network. You should watch it. It's a great match. And again, you know, things like there was a Canadian Championship, which you can go back and watch those matches. Who knew that, you know, that happened? There was an MMA, a Mixed Martial Arts Championship as well. Antonio Inoki held that. So you can watch those matches. And as a kid, you don't appreciate really how special those events are, because you don't know, you know, that they don't happen that often. But looking back now going, what, there was a women's tag team division. What, there was a WWF Mixed Martial Arts belt. A Canadian Championship. It's cool, isn't it? It's cool to go back and watch all these things. Cool. Well, look, I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, we'll do another couple of these. We'll do one on Wrestling Days. We'll do one on Mattel. If I butchered your name or said your name wrong, I'm really, really sorry. I quickly had to write all these questions down because I wanted to get this video done and out there. But I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, it'd be brilliant if you did. I'd really appreciate that as well. And you can follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Days UK. And hopefully I'll see you for the next video, which should hopefully be tomorrow. If not, it'll be in a couple of days' time. Cool. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. Bye for now.